So the key step in this question is, where does cube root of 6 fall relative to 2 and 3? So we know cube root of 1 is 1, and cube root of 8 is 2. That means cube root of 6 will be somewhere between 1 and 2, maybe closer to 2, perhaps 1.8, but this part isn't important. So the key thing is, if you know it's between 1 and 2, we can say that the quantity A, which is 2 divided by cube root of 6 plus 3 divided by cube root of 6, that number is going to be greater than 1, because this is between 1 and 2. And this number will also be greater than, in fact, would be greater than 1.5. So we know that this number is going to be greater than 2.5. If we look at quantity B, that's cube root of 6 over 2, cube root of 6 over 3. So that number is less than 1, and that's also less than 1. So we know that this sum will be less than 2. So with just this logic, we can argue that quantity A is greater, and the answer is A. So that's one way of going about it. Of course, on the calculator, you can't really find cube root of 6, but you can kind of guess. Maybe you say 1.8, and you multiply it 3 times. You'll see that comes out close to 5.8. Perhaps use that. That would be another option. And the third option would be to manipulate these expressions, meaning if I have to compare these two expressions, what can I do to manipulate them? And this applies to a lot of quantitative comparison questions. So here, same denominator, so that becomes 5 over cube root of 6. Here, if I factor the cube root of 6, I'll have half plus a third, which is 5/6. And then I can divide by 5. So now I have 1 over cube root of 6 and cube root of 6 over 6. Then I cross multiply. Quantity A becomes 6, and this becomes cube root of 6 square. Note you will be multiplying these two. And this is really 6 to the power of 2/3. And if I cube both sides, this becomes 6 cubed and 6 square. And you'll note that quantity A is clearly greater. So you can also go about it this way. And in both cases, the answer is A. Of course, this one is easier in that logic. But I just wanted to also show you that you can manipulate these expressions. And so the answer is A.